Welcome back, everybody, to Kicking in the Second Half, Kish YZ. I'm your host, D, back again with Hugh.
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, Hugh, we got another PPF for everybody. Tell everybody what we're doing today. Who are we covering?
Klay Thompson himself in the flesh.
Is that you? Hey, does he look like a scrubby Klay Thompson? Maybe if you shave the beard a little bit, trim up the sides? Put it in the comments.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, you're doing
All right,
this
Hugh, you're
now.
starting this thing out very awkwardly. I want to give you the ball because this is your guy. You're actually wearing his jersey tonight. But Hugh, yeah, let's get straight into the PPF, the past, present, future of Klay Thompson, your guy, one of your main guys, maybe your second favorite player in the league. I'm not sure. You could throw in an opinion or two there while you're talking, but I want you to go ahead and just dive into it. Give us a spill on Klay Thompson, bro.
Yeah. So Klay Thompson, he went to Washington State University from 2008 to 2011. He played 3 seasons for them there. He declared for the 2011 NBA draft after his junior season, and where he went 11th overall to the Golden State Warriors. Yeah, that's about all I got. Into some of his accolades throughout his career. 2012, he made the NBA All-Rookie First Team, so high honors there as a rookie. 2016, NBA three-point contest champion. He can pull up from deep with ease, so not a surprise there. 2019, he was named to the All Defensive Second Team. Klay, he's a great defender for how good of a shooter he is. He's an amazing defender as well. 2015 and 2016, he was named to the All NBA Third Team. He's a 5-time NBA All-Star from 2015 to 2019, every one of those years. And of course, he's a 3-time NBA champion, 2015, 2017, and 2018. Yeah, and he also was in the 2016 Olympics and 2014 World Cup. I think that is. But yeah, and then obviously on PPFs, I normally do this person's stat line for the current season, but since Klay is out due to injuries, I just went with his career stat line. But he's shooting 46% from the field, 42% from three. He averages 3.5 rebounds, 2.5 assists, about 1 steal, and half a block a game, and a couple other records with Klay that I have written down. He holds the record for points in a quarter. He scored 37 points in 1 quarter, so he holds that record. And also
the date?
holds. I do not remember the date. I think it was against Sacramento, though. It said no, it was against Sacramento.
January 23rd, 2015.
Oh wow! Well, look at you. You came prepared. And then
I thought you were. This is your guy. You were supposed to represent for him. That's not.
I got the stats. I just didn't go as far as the date.
You gotta elaborate. You gotta be flashy.
You know what shoes he's wearing? You know what shoes he was wearing that game?
Shoes that game? Not in particular.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Probably the antics or something.
Yeah, you should have looked that up.
The Chinese shoes. I'll bet you they were Chinese.
Right. But then he also holds the record for most 3-pointers in a game with 14.
Wait, we got to speak on that little bit of that segment there of the 37 points in the quarter. That's no joke right there. That's the record. That's a lot of points in one quarter, not the game. I think it said he had finished with 52 points.
52.
Total.
Yeah.
And I don't think he played the fourth quarter, bro.
No, I think it said like 26 minutes or something like that.
Yeah. He could have went for more, bro. Like he could have had probably the third or fourth highest point total in a single game in the regular season, bro. Like he was right there on clinching that, probably breaking the 3-point record back then, which would have been, I think, 12 at the time. So yeah, he went 13 for 13 in the third quarter. 13 for 13. 9 of those were threes. So he went 9 for 9 on 3-pointers and 13 for 13 on the field in the third quarter to score 37 points. Like people were talking about how that was like not even possible in 2K. And he was just a cheat code right there where you don't see that happen ever.
Yeah. He was cooking that, man, for sure. But yeah, and then another impressive record he holds is the most 3-pointers in a game. I'm kind of surprised Klay still has it. I kind of feel like Curry's tried to surpass him before. He's came close. I mean, here lately he's came close, but
He already said
his
last month that he was going to try to pass the record.
yeah, I mean he's
Got
came
a few
close.
games left to do it this year.
Yeah, but
Klay
yeah, he's 14.
Klay also has the
14
record
threes.
for most threes in a playoff game too, with 11.
Oh yes, yeah, I didn't know that. Well, it's a lot of records.
I mean, he's at one point, in my opinion, the best scorer on the team, even though they had Steph Curry.
Yeah. So I mean, Klay's obviously known for his shooting and his marksmanship from deep. But I mean, I think one underrated aspect of his is his defense. I know he is a great defender, and I don't think he gets near enough credit as he should for that. I mean, just being behind Curry, I don't think he gets enough credit as he should in general. But yeah, I mean, the dude's a baller. There's no one else I'd rather have as my number 2 than him. Best backcourt in the league. When healthy. That's the thing with Klay. He's unfortunately ran into some injury history that I think you're going to touch on the last couple of seasons.
Well, yeah,
but
you
yeah,
said
man.
he's not playing this season. Do you remember what happened to him the last time he played? You were watching his last game.
Yeah, and yeah,
It was Applebee's. It was, I have it here, Game 6, the 2019 NBA Finals against the Toronto Raptors.
That's when he hurt himself, right? And that's when he came back out and shot his free throws.
Yep. Yeah, you see, you
He a
remember
dog.
that.
He a
You remember
dog. I
that. You
remember
were
we
there for
lost.
that experience.
He a dog. We
I
lost.
mean, Kevin Durant was already hurt, and then he had that injury a few games later, and it was just all she wrote for the Golden State Warriors at that point, in my opinion, based off what they had left versus what they came into that series with as far as people on the court, their personnel to play with.
Yeah, we ain't had no one to defend Kawhi after that.
And then following that,
Draymond,
he had that. So he was basically out last season. And then this past off season in November, he tore his right Achilles, I think it says here, in November. So
you see how he did. You see how he did
put
that?
him out for the whole year.
I just saw like recently how he did that. Do you see how he did it?
Go ahead and tell us.
He said he was just taking like practicing, or I don't even think he was at practice. I think he was just like shooting outside of his free time. And he said it was just a jumper, just a jump shot.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing crazy. I mean, a shot he's taken a million times in his life, and he just.
I mean, same thing with DeMarcus Cousins. When DeMarcus Cousins got injured the year before in the offseason, when he left Golden State to sign with the Lakers, just one of those freak things that happened in the offseason, doing something that you normally do, and it just one of those weird incidents that happens, unfortunately.
Yeah, I feel you. So
one of the things coming out of the past or present, going into what we're going to talk about with his future predictions, is that he did not make the 2018-19 All NBA team. So this is the last season that he played healthy. You know, the season where the Warriors last went to the finals and he got hurt. He did not make the All NBA team, either of the three. And if you remember or not, that cost him some money. He wasn't offered a max contract because of that. You know, that was one of the things that you have to meet as far as a qualification to basically be paid that certain amount of money. They can't just outright pay him max pay without the incentives there. And he did not make that. And part of that was because Kevin Durant was on the team. You could say that kind of took away from what we got accustomed to seeing Klay do as far as an individual performer, even though he was still a great player. But when you talk about how heavy that Golden State team was, somebody's going to kind of be in the shadows a little bit. I think he took the fall for that. And, you know, and the quote that he had said after that, and, you know, I'm sure he was a little frustrated because it cost him money as far as it didn't change anything as far as his role on the team or how good he thought he was and how good everybody else knows that he is. But it did cost the man some money for his, you know, next contract that he signed. And he said he'd rather win the chips than, you know, the pay, which I understand that, but I'm sure there was some frustration there. But that's leading me into, I just saw where the last Warriors game, I guess the other day, where they have fans coming into the arena, like you mentioned, Hugh. He got a little bit emotional there, and Steph Curry had to come over and kind of talk him through that, help him through that stage. You know, sitting there, missing out basically on the whole season, and having the fans in the arena, in the new arena where he's yet to play. You know, I'm sure that's very heartbreaking and emotional. And kind of makes him very anxious to come back next season. But obviously, there's still some games to be left to be played, and that's just an unfortunate thing to watch from the player's perspective, in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It was definitely sad. And hey, yeah, Curry had plenty of time to go over there and be with them because we were getting blown out by the Mavs. But yeah, it was sad to see. And everybody, even the competition, wishes he was out there. And it's just sad to see him go through that, have to sit 2 full seasons. It's just unfortunate. But
So
I mean,
that's the low note.
hopefully he
So
comes back.
let's go into the high note. So what does this mean for his future? Any predictions? Any thoughts?
Man, I'm gonna keep it real. Really, this probably will be more negative than you anticipated, but I hope Clay can come back and be, just pick up right where he left off. But dude, I don't know. I mean, my expectations are high for him, but I just mean I could see him coming back and just not ever being the same guy. I mean, that's 2 years, a long time to sit. I don't know, if these injuries, either of them will have lingering effects, or if he's more, he's definitely more injury prone now. And I mean, what helps with Clay is because he's a great just catch and shoot guy. Like a lot of times he just sits there and gets kicked out to him and he just shoots. So I mean, that's one good aspect of his game. How he's not, a guy like LeBron who just drives and does all this stuff. I mean, he does do it, but he's can also just sit on the wing and just catch them and shoot them all day.
But now we've seen Kevin Durant come back from his injury. Granted, he's not playing a lot of games this season. So maybe Klay Thompson can kind of take a little bit from his book and kind of do the same thing, not as far as playing time, but as far as us seeing how he may come back versus how he last left the game in health terms and playing ability. Yeah, I'm sure he could still score on the 3-point line and everything like that. But we also have to consider his defense because, like you had touched on him being a great defender. I mean, at times when you mention people like Kawhi Leonard and Paul George and Jimmy Butler, I like to throw Klay Thompson in the mix too as like one of those definitely 3-and-D guys, two-way players, whatever title you want to give it. I mean, he's right there on that list for me in that top 5 for sure. So, when you talk about what potentially he might be missing coming back into the season is not just, some of his offensive performance, but maybe his lateral movements on the defensive end, because you definitely need that defense to win games. And if he's going to be out on the court and that's a weakness in his game now, then players are going to try to exploit that when they're playing offense against his defense. But yeah, hopefully he comes back pretty strong. Hugh, do you see him making another All-Star team?
No, I'm glad you said that. I was going to bring it up. I still believe that he will be an elite enough player and still make the All-Star game at least one more time. I mean, he's 31, so I mean, he's getting up there in age, but he's still got a while. But yeah,
do you see him breaking any of his records?
His own records?
Yeah.
Nah.
I tell you what, I see him competing for his own record because Steph Curry's, if he doesn't break it this season, he will be going after it again next season. I don't care what people might say, like, well, Steph's back and Clay's back. It's going to be a little bit different. No, I don't think it's going to be different because the one thing with these Warriors, if you watch them back in the day, even before they had Kevin Durant, they always found the way to challenge themselves as an individual and challenge each other as a team. And that's when they really had fun before the last year or those 2 years when they had Kevin Durant, but especially that last year when it was no longer fun in the Golden State sense as far as their playing style and what they did as a unit because of the spat between Draymond Green and Kevin Durant. But we're going to see a fun, I don't want to say funner, but a more fun Warriors team next season if they're healthy, because I'm telling you, Steph is going for that record if he doesn't get it this season. And if he's going for the record, guess who else is going to go for the record? The guy who holds the record right now. So I'm not sure. Sorry if I'm misquoting this, but I think when the record was 12, Steph Curry broke the record at 13. And then obviously Klay has a record at 14 for the most threes in a single game in the regular season. Like I said, I could be wrong about 13, but I think it was Steph who had that. So either or, even if it wasn't Steph, we could see a little bit back and forth. So basically, in my opinion, next season, it's going to be see who's going to be the first one to get to 15, because that's where I'm going to look for 15 threes by one of these guys. And don't be shocked if obviously you see games where they both end up with a dozen apiece.
Yeah. And I mean, that's great. I hope they do. I hope your prediction's right. I hope they does come back and they challenge each other and hold each other to a higher standard, trying to break each other's records. I think that'd be great. Yeah. I mean, hopefully I would love to see Klay come back and just be the same old Klay. And I've hoped that he can, but I also just see the downside of it. I know the effect that these injuries can have, and then 2 years off. It's not just like it's a whole season; it's 2 whole seasons. I mean, it's a long time. But so hopefully, yeah, he can come back and be the same baller that he was, and still play amazing defense and make more All NBA teams and um, you know
Wait a minute. So there's a
more.
couple more questions I got to ask before we are done with this segment on the PPF. One of the other questions
Let's hear it.
is being, do you see him winning another championship?
Yeah, I don't think Golden State's done. People say the dynasty's over. Last year was a fluke. We just had a lot of injuries, and then this year we don't have Klay. But I mean, just think. I mean, if Curry's holding it strong, this strong by himself. I mean, if we had Klay, I mean, I'd bump that our win total. At least up probably another 5-10 games, and we'd be right there in the middle of the West, in my opinion.
So
So
with your
no, I
prediction
still think we still got a
earlier
shot. Yeah.
with him not having full health, as far as you kind of doubting his comeback return, you still see them making a championship run as far as being in the finals? If
Yeah.
that
Well,
assumption is
well,
true, where he's not
well,
the Klay
don't,
that
well,
we once knew,
don't,
you think that's enough?
don't quote me wrong. I said I think and I hope he's going to come back normal. I just wouldn't be shocked if he doesn't. So I predict that he's going to come back and still be elite. But if he doesn't, if you come back and he's a step slower, or can't do the stuff that he can, I would understand. But no, I expect Klay to come back and still be elite. And with my expectation there, I mean, no matter what, the dude can not have to walk around, just sit in the corner, and he'd still put up 15, 20 points a game just from getting kicked out to him. I mean, the dude's that good. He don't miss. But yeah,
That's true,
so
but
I
it's
don't
more
think
than
I don't think they're done.
just offense.
Oh yeah, I know. But yeah,
So this is
I
the
still see
follow up
him
to this.
running it back.
This is the follow up to this, to that question. This is usually the last question between those two questions is, okay, even if you don't see him being the Klay that he is, but you still see him winning the championship. This kind of falls in line with the question. Do you see him winning the championship with the Warriors? Do you see him finishing his career as a Golden State Warrior?
Yeah, 100%.
He's a Warrior for life for you.
Yeah, and I know you don't want him to be. I know you want him to team up with LeBron. But yeah, I think he's going to stay in Golden State. I think him and Curry splash
at this
bros. I
point,
think they're both going to finish out their career.
I mean, at this point, if Klay's not completely healthy, I mean, LeBron would probably take whichever one. I mean, there was rumors that LeBron was recruiting Steph, so I'm sure he tried to recruit Klay when they were filming Space Jam. So shout out to that movie. Klay Thompson, he's in it, right?
Yeah, he's in it.
And of course, there was other speculation of Klay Thompson potentially had wanting to go to Golden State. I don't think he really wanted to. I mean, not Golden State, to the Lakers, because of his father. You didn't touch on that as far as the past, but his father in his past did play for the Lakers organization, won 2 championships with Magic Johnson back in the day and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So there's some family ties there, but probably not enough to get Klay to move. But you never know what could happen down the road if the Warriors have to break things up a little bit and they just build with Wiseman, Wiggins, and your boy Kelly Oubre.
That'd be something.
But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up everything I had to ask as far as the PPF. Anything else you want to add to Klay Thompson's career in the future? How many more years do you think he's got in the league? Assuming, you have to factor in that there's a potential of re-aggravating some injuries, or is he labeled as injury-prone player now with back-to-back 2 separate injuries on back-to-back seasons? Steph Curry is kind of like an injury-prone player, but he, in my opinion, had adjusted the season by kind of strengthening his body and getting more muscle tone for more and better endurance. But he still has those ankle problems from the past that I'm sure he has to deal with, but it hasn't been a serious problem this year. Is Klay going to have, you think, some, now I want to say side effects because it's almost at a certain point going to happen in his career, but do you think he's kind of an injury-prone player at the moment?
I hope not. I hope not. I mean, I wouldn't consider him one just because what happened this past offseason was just a freak accident. I mean, it's just 1 in a million chance of happening. It's a shot. Like I said, he's taken 1,000,000 times in practice in the games, and one time he just happened to land wrong. So I wouldn't consider that injury prone. Now, next season he comes back and halfway into the year he re-aggravates one of these injuries, then yeah, I think that would I would probably consider him injury prone at that point. Like Curry's ankle, it's just something that keeps coming up. What happened with Klay? At least his latest injury was just a freak accident, a 1 in a million chance of happening. So I wouldn't consider
True
him
that, but
injury
that's
prone
what
yet.
makes it injury prone is because it's the accidents that aren't major accidents, and because they're not really forced incidents because he wasn't playing like a extremely competitive basketball game, and that's what kind of makes it an injury prone, kind of like a DeMarcus Cousins is kind of seen as an injury prone type of player after the several injuries he's had over several seasons. John Wall is another example. Obviously, Kevin Durant is somewhat of an injury prone player because they have to manage his time on and off of the floor so you don't re-aggravate. So that's what I'm getting at with Klay, is not that the injury might be detrimental to ending his career, but at the same time, I would say that for me, he's kind of marked as injury prone with these two back-to-back kind of major injuries that he has to be more careful. He might not be the same player, kind of like a D Rose. Like D Rose still has a career and he's still gone, but he is injury prone player now.
Yeah, we'll see. Well, his two injuries, they weren't the same, were they?
No,
Like same
one's
spot?
knee.
Okay.
No,
Yeah,
one's knee. The ACL's in your knee, and I can't remember which leg that was. I think it's the opposite. I think that might have been left, and then the right Achilles, which is basically the tendon that holds your foot to your leg to your calf muscle. So
yeah. So I
yeah,
mean,
so two separate areas. But
if his newest injury was that, again, like something with his ACL, I'd call him injury prone. But I mean, it was just two different injuries. I still wouldn't call him injury prone. I just think the first one didn't look good, but the second one was just a freak accident. But I wouldn't go that far now. Into this season, if he starts having the same ACL issues or Achilles issues, then I would probably put him under that category. But as of now, I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm gonna hold out that he hasn't turned injury prone. I'd very well see him that he could, but as of right now, I'm gonna say that he's not.
okay, you've heard it here. And I don't want to keep going on this subject, so we're going to wrap this up. Thanks, everybody. If you're watching this video, thank you for kicking in the second half, Kish YZ. If you like this video, give us a like and check out some of our other PPF videos. They seem to be popular. Obviously, check our YouTube page for our podcast videos, our debate videos, our shoes videos, and catch us on anchor.fm and Spotify if you want to hear the audio only version of the podcast. And I think we have the PPFs on the audio only as well. And you could follow us on Twitter and Instagram under Kish YZ, KISH_YZ. But yeah, also give us a subscribe if you haven't, if you're keeping track of these videos, or if you just want to stay notified when we get new content out there, turn that notification bell on. Once again, I'd like to let the listeners and viewers be aware that it is April and it's Limb Loss Awareness Month, and we have a few days left in the month. So for every subscriber that we have total at the end of the month, on May 1st, I will be donating $1 to the Limbs for Life .org foundation. It's limbsforlife.org if you want to donate, but it's the Limb Loss Awareness Month, and it's the Limbs for Life Foundation there. And Hugh, you want to give any more shout outs, give your last words here on this take?
Yeah, I want to give a special shout out to my dad because he subscribed this evening. So we got
Thanks,
one
Rick,
more
for
subscriber than probably last time you checked.
34. That's another $1 towards that foundation. So thank you for supporting our channel, and thank you for supporting that foundation as well.
Yeah. So just shout out a new sub there. Hopefully you enjoy the channel, are able to catch some of the videos in your busy schedule. We'd extremely appreciate it. But yeah, to anybody that's not subscribed watching this, we do these PPS, we do debates, we do podcasts where we get specific about subjects. D even did a what if episode where like hypothetical scenarios about this and that. We do D mainly does shoes videos, but yeah, if any of that sounds interesting to you, be sure to check us out. Give me a sub. No tomatoes, no veggies, not a fan. But yeah, give a thumbs up on this video if you like it. Let us know if there's a specific player you'd like to see next. But we appreciate all y'all support and your views and the time you take to watch our videos. So yeah, shout out all y'all.
All right, everybody. Thanks for kicking in the second half. Everybody, peace and love.